Hey everyone, I got the new AR-10 all slung up here. So today after I slung this up, and I'm gonna go through all the details of how I did it. One of the things I was thinking of, hey, since this AR-10 right now, like fully loaded, weighs like 11.5 pounds, maybe the usual way that I sling up my AR-15s is not the best way to sling this up. And basically I came back to doing things the way I normally do it. The one difference is that normally I use the lighter brash tactical sling. Okay, it's a little bit thinner, a little bit faster, right? Fast loop sling, it's a little bit faster. Because this is a heavier gun, this is an 11.5 pound gun right now, and it's going to get heavier when I put on a bigger scope on this. I elected to use this CVLife fast loop sling that I have. Okay, I think there's a label over here you guys can see. I did a full review on this, right? So look up the CVLife fast loop sling. I did that a while ago. I'm still using it, so you imagine it must be pretty decent. So because this material is a little bit thicker, what I'm finding is that, because right now I'm wearing a fairly thin sweater, it's sitting more comfortably on my body, right? Given the weight of this gun at 11.5 pounds, when I tried it with the thinner sling, right, what happened was that I could feel it digging in just a little bit more as I was walking around the woods. Okay, so for this AR-10, I like the CVLife fast loop sling better than my brash tactical sling. Now that one is a little bit faster. When you want to, on the let out, they're just as fast. They're both as fast. But when you want to tighten it up, there's a little bit more resistance. So to tighten this up, right? So if I let it out, what I'll do is I gotta put my hand on the stock here and then pull up. Okay. So that's what you gotta do with this CVLife sling. Now, when I'm walking around, there's a little, obviously if you have the rifle in front of your body, I mean, yeah, this is faster for coming up and getting on target, but this also tires your back down. So what I do is I'll pick this up, I'll roll this over my back, and then I'll grab the fast loop here and just tighten it down from here, okay? And now this sits on my back, and now this is a lot more comfortable to walk, and I can grab it, tighten it up even more if I need to, okay? Right, so to retrieve this, what I'll do is I'll take my thumb and I'll put it in the fast loop. I'll pull this up, roll it around, and I can come up on target, okay? If I want to do a left side transition, I'll let it out even more, swim out of it, and come to the other side, okay? So that lets me do the left side transition, and then come in, grab the loop here, put my hand on the stock, and pull this up. That's how I'm tightening up. So this CVLife fast loop is working pretty good for me. I bought it through Amazon, okay? One of the nice things about this is I kind of have I feel like I have like 2 levels of protection, because if for any reason this didn't work out, I could return it to Amazon. But for whatever reason that didn't work out, I could go to CVLife and also, get them to make good on it, okay? So I feel like I have 2 levels of protection. Just to give you guys an example, like over here, now the stock that came on this Palmetto AR-10 was just a Magpul. It didn't have the QD mounting point over here. So one of the things I do with my stocks that don't have QD mounting points is I drill a hole through here and run a socket, and then just put a lock nut on the other side, okay? So that's what I did with this. Now I don't remember what company this came from. I've done this a number of times. Works out great. But if, let's say, this stopped working for whatever reason, I gotta go figure out what company I got it from, and I only have 1 level of complaint there, just Amazon. By contrast, on this other hand here, on this other side here, this M-Lock slingy thing here, that one is from CVLife. Okay, so same deal there. Actually, I have it with me here because it was a 2-pack for like 10 bucks. I wanted to show you guys. So I got this. Where are you? This 2-pack for like $10 is the other one here. So again, if let's say this thing stops working, starts holding, whatever. And by the way, they have like the rotating and the non-rotating. I prefer the non-rotating ones that lock into place, because otherwise sometimes your sling can get all like tangled up. So again, if I start having a problem with this, you know, I feel, because there's a lot of options. Like when you go to Amazon to order, there's a lot of companies that sell the same thing here, right? This same M-Lock sling mount thing here for the same price. But it's like, if I'm going to pay the same price from any one of these companies, let me get it from CVLife, because I think they're trying to build up like a brand name, so I can go back and complain to them if there's a problem. I haven't had a problem, but if there is a problem, so that's kind of what. And you guys know how hard I run my stuff, so I'm always thinking of a backup. What do I do when this breaks? Do I have anybody to go replace it for me? Okay, so on this side over here, I installed a 3-slot M-Lock rail. Okay, so that 3-slot rail is great because it gives me an anchoring point if I don't have the bipod. In this case, I do have the bipod on here, so it's a good mounting point. I basically put this on for extra weight. I wanted to see again how this sling felt on my body walking around the woods. So I did another review on this. Again, this is also from CVLife. This is very similar to the Magpul one, which is like $100. This one's like a lot cheaper. I forgot how much this one was, but this one's a lot cheaper. I did the review on this. It's been holding up pretty well. Anyway, today's video is, this is how I slung my AR-10, and basically I came, even though this thing weighs 11.5 pounds, this is what I came back to. This, setting it up at the on the stock on this side. On this side over here, and there's a nice thing about the fast loop, right? If I want to point the gun up, right? Because if you don't have a fast way to release this, how are you going to get the gun up to put your magazine in there, right? So this gives me a fast way to release it. I can get the gun up to do a mag change. So if you notice over here, I didn't go all the way to the end, okay? Because a lot of times on these rails, they'll have a QD point on the end here. A lot of times I end up not using this, especially on this gun, which is a little bit longer. What I want is, when I sling this up and I throw this over my back, okay, pull this down tight, what I want is, I want that to be like right over my shoulder, okay? I don't want too much of the sling over here, right? So I want to minimize the amount of extra sling. So that's why when I sling this up, I don't automatically go to the end over here, right? I figure out where's the best place for me. Now, what I did with this one, now this is an AR-10. This is my first AR-10, so I'm kind of figuring stuff out. What I did is I pulled down AR-15. I set the stock to the same position that I would have this in, right? Because that's going to be the same because of eye relief issues and stuff like that, right? And then what I did is I compared it to my AR-15 to see where this point was going to end up over here, right? Because the receiver on the AR-10 is a little bit longer, so that's going to, you know, the magazine here is a little bit longer, so that can change things, right? So don't just like go here and count like the number of slots back. Because of this receiver being a little bit longer here, everything might end up coming back a little bit further, okay? So, again, so you got to have a fast loop sling. You got to have it. That's like the fastest, easiest way to work. So with this gun over here, I'm going to let the sling out. I can point the gun up or down. I can lock open this gun, which is a whole bunch of fun to do when you got this thing on the magnifier on the side here. Get my safety on. I can point the gun up, get the magazine, put it in, close it, coming up. Okay. So, and then tighten it up like this. Throw it over your back. Make sure it's nice and tight. And you're good. You're ready to go for a walk. Oh, one other quick thing I want to mention. Yeah, so this is when you put in your M-locks over here, right? Make sure that the screws aren't like touching your barrel. Okay, so on this side over here with the CVLife material over here, the CVLife M-lock, I had plenty of clearance, but on this side over here with the 3-slot, I saw that the screws were like almost coming up and touching the barrel. So what I did is I just dremeled it down. I actually took a quick video of that. I'm going to attach it to the end of this, okay? So yeah, make sure that when you put your QD, your M-Lock, when you put all your M-Lock hardware, make sure that it's not touching your barrel. And what you also want to do, okay, grab your barrel here, grab the rail, look at it, and then just apply a little bit of pressure, because your barrel does flex. So you want to make sure, if you apply a little bit of pressure to your barrel, make sure it's not hitting the screw, okay? Because that's gonna, I mean, it's not gonna damage the barrel or anything, but when the idea here is that this is a free floated rail, the barrel has as little contact with other things. It doesn't have extra contact with anything. So when the barrel fires, it flexes naturally, right? So there's nothing to interfere with the natural flex, with the natural harmonics of the barrel. So what happens is, if you attach one of these M-locks here and the screw's coming up and it touches the barrel, or when the barrel flexes, it touches one of those screws, that's going to interfere with the natural harmonics and the natural flex of the barrel. It's not going to make a difference at 100 yards, but at 500 yards, it's going to make a difference, right? So it's a minor thing, but just keep an eye on that. Make sure that your screws don't touch the barrel. And if they do, just get a Dremel and just Dremel down. It's not a big deal, okay? So let's shorten this thing up. And I'm going to go back to my walking through the woods exercises today to see how, there you go, see how this thing feels, okay? So far I'm pretty happy, working good. Okay, so that's me slinging up my new AR-10 from Palmetto. This is the PA-10 Gen 3. Hey everyone, real quick, if your screws on your 3-slot rail are too long and they're coming close to the barrel when you install them, just use a Dremel and grind them down. Now, what I already did it, and I was clear of the barrel, but I said, hey, let me take it down a little bit longer. So normally these sit like horizontally, so I have them vertical. So I'm just going to grind these down by setting them vertical like this. I know that I'm going to have, like, I'm not going to go too short on them, okay? So this is easy. I mean, if you don't have a Dremel, I mean, you could just take this and go on cement and run them back and forth like that. It's soft metal, so it's going to come down. And these are cheap parts, so I mean, if you screw it up, I mean, what are you out $5? So it's not a big deal.